Here we are live at the Prime Minister's office at the West Entrance. There's just been a press conference with Sally Lane talking about the need to repatriate her son Jack and 43 other Canadians who have been arbitrarily detained for years in Syria under conditions akin to torture as described by the United Nations, Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, a Canadian Parliamentary Committee, the International Committee of the Red Cross, the U.S. State Department, and numerous other international bodies which are demanding repatriation of the tens of thousands who are held illegally without charge in these camps. Sally last Thursday was here trying to present a letter to Justin Trudeau seeking a meeting. She's going to try again after being refused yesterday, but after fighting for 8 years for her son to come home, she's not ready to give up. In fact, she's stronger than ever now with a large group of supporters who are continuing to grow across the country, including a petition with 7,500 signatures. And Sally, I understand you've got a letter you're going to present to this gentleman here.
Yes, I have my letter here. Unfortunately, Trudeau ignored my last letter, so I am now trying again.
Okay, well, let's see what we can do here. Sally, do you want to explain why you're here?
Hello? Hello? I have a letter to present to Mr. Trudeau.
Hopefully he's not filming me.
No.
No. This is to do with the arbitrary detention of my son, who has been illegally detained in Syria. He's a Canadian citizen. He's been there for 5 years. And Mr. Trudeau is not listening to me. It is not just my son. There are 43 other Canadians who are also detained in illegal camps. And the government is doing nothing to help them. So this is my second letter to Trudeau to ask for a meeting with him so that we can discuss this urgent situation.
Okay, I'll ask if I can receive it. 1 second, please.
He's asking to see if they can receive a letter from Sally. It's rather bizarre that Sally, who was able to drop a letter off here last week, the real issue of whether or not she can even deliver this letter is now an open question in a closed democracy. Sally, this must be so difficult to have to do this time and again. You've been doing this for 8 years. How does it feel now that you are sitting here waiting to see whether they will even receive a letter from you?
Well, I've just noticed actually that on one of the intros here it says suspicious person checklist. So I'm wondering if this is the reason why they're refusing to accept my letter.
So you're wondering if you're a suspicious person because you're standing up for an end to arbitrary detention for your son and the 43 other Canadians?
Well, this is the irony of the situation, is that we are the ones demanding democracy and fairness, and it is the government that is saying that unfortunately it can't deliver those goals of democracy and fairness.
You're not the only one standing up. I understand you're presenting a copy of a petition today with 7,500 signatures of Canadians and people from across the world who are standing up for the same things that you're standing up for. How does it feel to know that you've got 7,500 people behind you and growing?
Yeah, it's very heartening to see the outpouring of support that we have had from people here, and the messages have been very heartening as well. That people are shocked by what their government is doing, or rather not doing.
If Mr. Trudeau was walking up the street here and you had a chance to flag him down and we're going to have two minutes to say, I'm happy to listen to you, Sally, what would you say to the Prime Minister?
I would say, what if this was your son? I'm sure you would be on the next plane. We've been waiting for very, very, very long time now.
8 years, Sally and John have been waiting for Jack to come home. And Sally's been standing out in the rain with a lovely group of supporters who have also been standing in the rain all morning here in Ottawa, trying to get freedom for Jack Letts. Would anyone here like to speak about why they're here today? Oh, 1 second.
Yeah, we have the truck that will receive it for the PM, so we'll put it.
Yeah.
So it looks like they will be receiving this letter going to the Prime Minister, seeking a meeting with Sally to discuss urgent repatriation. And there it goes. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll be broadcasting some readings from the camps, some voices in about 20 minutes when we go back to the steps of the Prime Minister. Thank you to all who've been watching the live feeds here in downtown Ottawa today. Can I just ask this gentleman in the back? You've got a sign here, Bring Jack Back, Free the 44. Why are you here today, sir?
I'm here because I actually know Jack.
You know Jack?
Yes, I do, yes. I am a very good friend of his father's. We grew up together in Southern Ontario, and Jack was a great kid, still is a great kid. He's an adult now, he's a great man. When I found out that he was leaving to go do this extraordinary thing, broke my heart, but it really brought home the fact that when I was his age, I wanted to help people. I want to do good in the world. What he did was extraordinary. He was just doing what young people with a big heart do. It broke my heart. It still breaks my heart. And I want him to come home. That's it.
Thank you, sir. Linda, I've seen you at a couple of these demonstrations. What brings you out in the cold weather on Valentine's Day and in this May shower today?
Well, I am a mother and a grandmother, and if my son was somewhere, I'd be doing what Sally's doing, and it brings tears to my eyes when I think about the suffering she's going through, and I want to do what I can to help.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Linda. Joe, you've been doing this for 2 decades now with different families. Did you think in 2001, 2002 you'd still be here in 2022 doing this work?
I guess I'd hoped that it would have been better for the Muslims by now, but my reason for being here really, along with being a mother and a grandmother, is that I feel Canada should protect all its citizens, all of them. They should be brought back whatever their problem is. It's not right, and it minimizes the importance of citizenship. So we really need to have the government stop this policy of keeping people away just because they think they are in some kind of trouble. It's not right.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. Bill, you were among the first to be out in support of Monia, who spoke earlier today. Same question. Does it shock you that 20 years on, after bringing home Meher Arar and some of the other detained Muslim Canadians overseas, that you're standing here in 2022 doing the same thing with Sally and trying to bring Jack back?
Well, it disappoints me. It doesn't shock me.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the accountability ever been from the time of Meher to Al-Malki to others, Hassan Diab, etc.? Our governments talk, but they don't act to hold accountable those who caused these problems. And now we have officials in Canada who are refusing to act to bring a citizen from a prison camp under horrible conditions. They refuse even to speak to his mother, who has come all this way to defend him. So yeah, it's very disappointing. It's not shocking because, of course, again, there isn't accountability for their actions.
Yeah, thank you. Ria, you too have been involved in these struggles for many years. Why, do you ever feel like giving up and thinking, oh, what's the point? Or why are you here today?
I can't give up because that would depress me too much. And it is always good to be with people who are likewise minded, and that helps me. And I just want to say, when it comes to young men like Jack, it seems to me, when you hear the stories and you read, he is such a he was a very sensitive young boy. And now he's still a very sensitive young man. And it's so hard for them. And, you think for the mom and the dad who know him so well, the pains and what they've gone through. I had to be here, of course, because that speaks so deeply to me as a parent.
Yeah. Thank you, Ria. Bessa, again, another familiar face who's been at these protests for many years. How does it feel to be here again in 2022?
Well, it challenges my persistence, I must say. But 80 years ago, we were silent when the Jews were being persecuted in Germany and turned away from here. And I vowed growing up back then that I would never remain silent again. And this time it's the Muslims. And here we are. And I do hope that the Canadian government will act this time.
And thank you for making that lifelong commitment to justice. Gail? Okay.
I just never heard of Jack until today, so I'm not up to date. But I think this is just a theme in Canada, because what worries me, we Muslims, etc., is the Afghani thing. Well, we're going to bring all these Ukrainians in, but what about so there's a real Islamophobia, there's racism, etc., that this does not apply directly to Jack, but I mean the whole thing about the conditions under which he lives is disgusting, and I'm really, really, really angry about it. So what I'll do in the future, Matthew, I don't know, but think of something.
Right on. Thank you to everyone who has shared their thoughts this morning and who has spoken. And we will be heading over to the steps of the Prime Ministers again and continuing our 5 hours for 5 years vigil here in the rain to try and free Jack Letts and bring home all of the 44 Canadian detainees, at least from northeast Syria, women, children, and men alike, who are living under conditions akin to torture, with a government here in Ottawa that twiddles its thumbs, and all it can do is come up with policy frameworks that are meant to prevent the repatriation of Canadians as opposed to bringing them home. Thanks everybody who is watching now, and stay tuned at 1 o'clock for more readings.